You believe the darkness lives above the waves in the shadows of the night sky, but the true night exists thousands of feet below. Close your eyes. Can you feel the pressure building on your eardrums? The air we breathe is a luxury the deep ocean utterly rejects. It doesn't hold memories of sunlit shores or crashing tides. It holds secrets. We know more about the surface of the moon and the canyons of Mars than we do about the waters covering 2/3 of our own Earth. The deep sea is not just a place on the map. It is an alien dimension right here on our planet. It is a cold, unyielding graveyard that crushes light and life with equal, terrible indifference. The crushing grip of the trenches. Imagine the weight of 100 fully loaded jumbo jets resting on your chest. That is the pressure found at the deepest point of the ocean. This crushing force is why metal bends, stone breaks, and why no living creature built for the surface can survive a journey into the abyss. It is the ocean's simple, physical rejection of human life. Our soft human bodies are made mostly of water, yet the depths would treat us like empty soda cans. A tiny leak in a submarine or a momentary failure of a hull would not be a gentle drowning, but an instant, silent compression into nothingness. The water itself becomes a solid, merciless wall of pure force. This unyielding pressure defines the boundary between our world and the darkness below. It is the ocean's way of ensuring that its oldest secrets, its most horrifying mysteries, and its strangest inhabitants remain forever hidden from the sunlit surface world. The abyss keeps its treasures safe, the zone of no return. Sunlight only penetrates the very top layer of the ocean, the first 650 feet, which scientists call the euphotic zone. Below that, the light fades fast, and by 300 feet, the darkness is total, permanent, and suffocating. This is the aphotic zone, or sunless zone, where eternal night reigns and the blackness is absolute. This eternal midnight is unlike any darkness you have experienced on land. Without any trace of light, human vision is useless, and all sense of direction is lost in the silent, cold expanse. It is a sensory deprivation tank the size of a planet, a place designed to drive the sanity from any surface dweller. The blackness means that plant life, which needs light to live, cannot exist. This simple fact creates a deep-sea world where all life must survive by eating each other or scavenging what little falls from the bright world above. The darkness is not empty. It is a hunting ground of blind terror. The cold that stops the heart. Dive down far enough, and the ocean temperature plummets until it hovers just above freezing, around 35 degrees Fahrenheit, for miles. This is not just cold. It is a profound, life-sapping chill that penetrates everything it touches. The deep sea is a vast cold storage facility, preserving whatever falls into its clutches. This freezing layer acts like a huge shield, preventing the warmer surface waters from ever reaching the bottom, and locking the secrets below in a state of deep, icy suspension. The perpetual cold slows down time itself, meaning that ancient wood, lost metal, and even human remains can last for centuries. It is in this icy, still water that pieces of history are perfectly preserved, untouched by the normal processes of decay. The chilling truth is that when something is lost to the deep, it is often not destroyed. It is simply filed away in the ocean's cold, dark archives, waiting to be found. The ocean floor is a lightning rod. The deep ocean is the birthplace of the most powerful and destructive storms on Earth. But even more terrifying is the water itself. When lightning strikes the ocean's surface, the water acts as a perfect conductor, spreading the electrical charge rapidly across vast distances in an invisible, fatal web. This happens because salt water is extremely good at carrying an electrical current, turning huge sections of the sea surface into a death trap in a violent storm. Anything near the strike, a small boat, a swimmer, or a pod of sea creatures, is immediately exposed to a massive invisible surge of energy. The ocean can go from a gentle swell to a deadly electrified field in a single silent flash. This hidden danger reminds us that even at the surface, where the sun shines, the deep's power over us is absolute. It can strike from above, using its own vast body to deliver the fatal blow. The true depth of the Challenger. Deep. The deepest part of our planet, the Mariana Trench, plunges 36,070 feet, a section known as the Challenger Deep. To understand this depth, realize that if you placed Mount Everest at the bottom, its summit would still be over a mile underwater. We have barely scratched the surface of what the ocean holds. This vast, impossible depth is a place of such extreme isolation that only 3 humans have ever reached the bottom. The first 2, Jacques Picard and Don Walsh, spent only 20 minutes there in 1960. The third, James Cameron, went alone in 2012. More people have stood on the moon than have visited the Challenger Deep. This fact proves the ocean is a greater, more hostile frontier than outer space. It is a cosmic void right beneath our feet, a place where the conditions are so alien that even our best technology struggles to survive. The deepest point on Earth is a world that truly belongs to the great unknown. Fish with antifreeze in their blood. To survive the crushing cold of the deep, many creatures have evolved in terrifying ways. For example, some fish living in the Antarctic waters have developed antifreeze proteins in their blood and body fluids. This allows their internal systems to function even when the water temperature drops below the normal freezing point of blood. This strange chemical defense means their bodies are naturally immune to the cold that would instantly stop a human heart or turn our blood to ice. Their veins flow with a strange, life-sustaining, slush-resistant liquid, perfectly designed for the eternal chill of their environment. They are immune to the cold, but we are not. It speaks to the brutality of the deep that evolution itself had to invent a kind of biological antifreeze just to allow a simple fish to live. They are survivors of an environment so hostile it demands absolute chemical transformation. They are part machine, perfectly adapted to the icy, dark abyss. The bizarre deep sea snow. In the deepest parts of the ocean, the only source of food is what drifts down from the bright surface world. A constant, eerie rain of dead things called marine snow. This snow is made up of dead animals, waste and microscopic bits of plant matter, falling in a slow, continuous stream toward the dark bottom. This continuous snowfall of death is the foundation of the deep-sea food chain, supporting entire ecosystems based on scavenging the fallen debris of the world above. Without this cold, organic rain, the vast majority of the deep ocean would be a complete, lifeless desert. It is a world fed by rot and ghosts. The creatures of the deep are therefore the ultimate scavengers, eternally looking upward for the slightest tremor or dark shadow that signals a meal has finally arrived. This food source is the perfect metaphor for the deep, a slow, cold descent of death and decay providing the only means for survival. Hidden black holes of water. The ocean is not a smooth, simple body of water. Scientists have discovered massive swirling currents, called oceanic eddies, which act exactly like black holes in space. These immense vortexes suck everything into their path, pulling in small sea creatures, boats and debris from miles around with no escape. These giant rotating whirlpools can measure up to 90 miles across, and once something crosses their boundary it is lost forever, drawn into the churning, inescapable centre. They are not mythical maelstroms, but real, colossal engines of the sea, demonstrating a power we cannot hope to overcome or control. The terrifying truth is that sailors can pass near these enormous, invisible water vortexes without ever knowing. These black holes are a reminder that the ocean moves according to forces far beyond our understanding. They are the ultimate trap, constantly roaming and consuming far below the calm surface. The deadly drop-off. Imagine swimming happily in the shallow, clear water near a coral reef, only to find the seabed suddenly vanish beneath your feet. This drop-off marks the terrifying edge where the continental shelf falls away into the abyss, a dizzying vertical descent into the infinite black. It is the boundary between safety and the deepest fear. This geological feature is one of the most frightening things a swimmer or diver can experience, as the cheerful blue water instantly turns a profound, unsettling black. The sensation is one of falling into a bottomless pit, a sudden, primal realization of the incomprehensible depth that lies right next to the shore. The sudden change in colour and scale is a powerful psychological shock. It represents the moment the familiar world ends and the terrifying unknown void begins. This is where shallow water creatures fear to tread, and where the true residents of the deep begin their silent, endless patrol. The ocean's low hum. The ocean is rarely silent, but one of the strangest sounds recorded is a mysterious low-frequency sound known as Earth's hum. This constant, pervasive noise is too deep for the human ear to easily hear, but seismologists detect it all over the planet, coming from the depths of the ocean floor. The origins of this persistent, deep vibration are completely unknown to science, but it suggests a massive geological process is constantly taking place beneath the waves. The Earth itself seems to be vibrating, or moaning, perhaps from the movement of tectonic plates, or the immense pressure changes of the deep. The thought that the planet has a low, constant musical sound emanating from the ocean's basement is a chilling one. It is the true soundtrack of the abyss, a reminder that something immense and alive is always moving and shifting far below us, constantly singing its deep, resonant song. Invisible waves of death beneath the surface waves we see. The deep ocean has its own silent, massive movements called internal waves. These huge waves of water flow along the different temperature layers of the ocean, reaching heights of up to 600 feet, taller than most skyscrapers, and moving with tremendous unseen energy. Because they are underwater, these monster waves are invisible from the surface, making them a secret menace to deep-diving submersibles and underwater structures. They can appear without warning, capable of dragging a small submarine off course, or violently stirring up a massive cloud of sediment from the seafloor. The deep ocean, therefore, is not a still, quiet place, but a chaotic environment where invisible storms constantly rage below. It is a profound demonstration of the hidden power of the ocean, reminding us that even the supposedly calm depths are subject to forces that we cannot predict or defend against. Rivers on the ocean floor. Incredibly, scientists have discovered actual flowing rivers and waterfalls on the bottom of the Black Sea and the Denmark Strait. These rivers are streams of supersaline dense water that pour down slopes and into deeper trenches, moving with a current faster than some rivers on land. These underwater rivers are formed by water that is much saltier and therefore heavier than the surrounding seawater. When it spills over the edge of a trench, it creates a terrifying waterfall that drops thousands of feet. The water in these currents is often toxic, creating a lethal flowing boundary. Imagine walking on the ocean floor and coming across a powerful toxic river that flows into a bottomless waterfall. It is a landscape that defies everything we know about geography and water flow. The discovery shows that the deep ocean has its own weather, its own geography, and its own deadly laws. The toxic lakes of the abyss. At the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico, there are terrifying spots known as brine pools. These are underwater lakes of water so salty and dense they cannot mix with the surrounding seawater. They also contain high levels of methane, making them completely toxic and deadly to nearly all marine life. These pools have shorelines and surfaces much like a lake on land, but they exist thousands of feet underwater. Any small creature that mistakenly swims into this poisonous, extra heavy water immediately dies, their bodies falling onto the silent alien shoreline surrounding the lethal pool. The existence of these lethal hidden lakes shows the deep ocean contains landscapes of pure horror. They are the forbidden zones of the abyss, where life goes to be instantly preserved and killed by the planet's own deadly chemical compounds. They're a monument to the ultimate unforgiving toxicity of the deep. The terrifying absence of air for a diver. The most terrifying thing about the deep is not the pressure or the monsters, but the complete silent absence of the atmosphere we take for granted. We rely on metal, gas tanks, and technology to bring a tiny piece of the surface down with us. A failure is instant death. Below a certain depth, the slightest tear in a suit or a technical malfunction means the vast, cold, unbreathable ocean immediately replaces our life-giving air. It is a sudden, total substitution of existence with a hostile element. This is the simple, brutal arithmetic of the deep. Zero tolerance for error. Every deep dive is a descent into a place where a single mistake seals your fate, leaving you entombed in a personal pressurized bubble of darkness and silence. The sheer scale of the water above you, waiting to claim you, makes the psychological terror of the descent almost unbearable for the human mind. The ocean's unmapped face. While we have detailed maps of the Moon and Mars, scientists estimate that up to 80% of the ocean floor remains completely unmapped and unseen by human eyes. Most of the charts we use for the deep are based on crude sonar measurements with poor resolution, leaving vast gaps of the unknown. This unmapped territory is a geographical mystery the size of continents, full of unknown mountains, canyons, and deep-sea trenches. Every time a new mapping effort is made, geologists discover entirely new volcanic ranges or fault lines that were previously invisible, proving how little we truly know about our own basement. Imagine that a majority of our planet's landscape is just a blank spot on the map, a shadow world where literally anything could be waiting to be found. This lack of knowledge is the ultimate terrifying fact. The greatest undiscovered wilderness is not out there, but right here beneath the familiar waves. The Earth's largest waterfall is underwater. The tallest waterfall on Earth is not on land, but located in the Denmark Strait between Greenland and Iceland. This enormous underwater cascade plunges over 11,500 feet, which is 3 times the height of the largest land waterfall, falling into the deeper part of the Atlantic Ocean basin. This massive, silent torrent is formed when freezing cold Arctic water meets the slightly warmer Erminger seawater. The cold, denser water immediately sinks, rushing over a massive drop in the ocean floor called the ridge, creating a constant, silent, and immensely powerful torrent that can never be stopped. This hidden, geological wonder proves that the dynamics of the ocean are far grander and more extreme than anything we see on the surface. The world's largest waterfall flows in darkness, a silent, monumental flow of water that represents the constant, cold exchange between the surface and the abyss. The deep-sea volcanoes. The ocean floor is covered with thousands of underwater volcanoes, far more than on land, and many of them are still active, silently spewing hot magma and strange chemicals into the deepest waters. These volcanoes often create vents that release superheated water, sometimes over 700 degrees Fahrenheit. These hydrothermal vents are so hot that the water is prevented from boiling only by the crushing pressure of the deep, a paradox of heat and pressure. Around these toxic, super-hot chimneys, entire ecosystems of bizarre creatures live, completely disconnected from the sunlit world above and dependent on chemical energy. These underwater volcanoes prove that life can exist in the most toxic, impossible conditions imaginable. They are the furnaces of the deep, a terrifying marriage of heat, rock, and water that keeps life simmering in the absolute darkness. It is a world on fire, eternally hidden beneath the waves. The oldest water on Earth. Near the deep-sea trenches, scientists have discovered pockets of water that have been completely cut off from the rest of the ocean for millions of years. This fossil water is a chemical time capsule, containing elements and ancient microbes that may date back to the earliest formation of the planet. Tasting this water, scientists reported it was incredibly salty, thick and highly toxic, but the real fear is what ancient unknown forms of life it may contain. This isolated deep water is a window into a truly prehistoric time, possibly holding organisms that could reshape our understanding of life's origin. The ocean is literally holding on to vast quantities of ancient, completely unmixed liquid that is older than the mountains. It is a geological museum of terrifying proportions, ensuring that the planet's most primitive, most resilient, and perhaps most dangerous forms of life remain suspended in cold, dark isolation. The planet's final frontier, the Hadal Zone, which includes all the trenches deeper than 20,000 feet, makes up less than 2% of the ocean floor, yet it contains the most extreme environments on Earth. Only 31 trenches make up this total zone, and only a tiny handful have ever been visited by humans or robotic probes. This zone is truly the Earth's final frontier, the very end of geography. The extreme pressures and temperatures make exploration incredibly costly and difficult, meaning that for all our advanced technology, a few hours of darkness is all we can manage. This is where the ocean utterly defeats our ambition. Because of this lack of exploration, scientists estimate that millions of completely new species could be waiting in these deepest trenches. The terrifying scale of the unexplored Hadal Zone is the ultimate fact. We are living on a planet that holds a completely unknown, massive shadow world right beneath our civilizations. The unseen earthquakes, deep-sea trenches are formed where two tectonic plates collide, a process called subduction, which makes them prime locations for earthquakes. These massive underwater geological events often trigger destructive tsunamis, sending giant waves toward coastlines with little or no warning to the people on land. The terrifying part is that many of these deep ocean earthquakes go completely undetected, or are only registered after the disaster has already begun. The ocean floor is a constant rumbling source of unpredictable seismic activity, shaking and shifting the crust in ways we cannot effectively monitor. The ocean is therefore the silent engine of global destruction, constantly storing up potential energy in its deepest trenches, ready to unleash unimaginable force upon the world above. It is a constant reminder that the ground we walk on is unstable, controlled by the violent geological forces of the deep. The fish with a transparent head. One of the strangest creatures is the barrel fish, which has a completely transparent dome-shaped head. Its terrifying adaptation is that its eyes are inside this clear dome, rotating upward to look for the tiny silhouettes of prey swimming above in the dim twilight zone. This grotesque but effective adaptation means its brain is permanently visible through the clear shield of its head, a biological window into its very thoughts. It is a creature designed by the darkness to be a perfect silent hunter, with its eyes constantly locked on the faint signs of life above. The barrel's bizarre, visible brain reminds us that deep-sea creatures are governed by different rules of life and survival. They are living nightmares of evolution, perfectly tuned to the dark and possessing adaptations that seem to defy the very possibility of natural life. The giant isopod's hunger strike. The giant isopod is a massive deep-sea crustacean, a cousin to the common pillbug, but the size of a football. This ultimate scavenger is so adapted to the scarcity of food in the deep that it can go an unbelievable amount of time without eating a single thing. One captured, giant isopod famously went 5 years in captivity without taking a single meal, an extraordinary display of metabolic efficiency. It simply hunkers down on the seabed, waiting patiently for marine snow or a massive whale carcass to fall, a true master of the waiting game. This ability to fast for half a decade is terrifying, because it means the deep-sea predators are not frantic. They are patient, ancient entities perfectly comfortable with the slow passing of time. They are the ultimate survivors, a living armoured reminder of the vast dead spaces between meals, the vampire squid from hell. The vampire squid from hell lives in the dark, oxygen-poor zones, and is covered in black spiky webbing between its arms. When threatened, it can flip itself inside out, wrapping its spiked arms around its own body to create a terrifying, thorny black ball that hides its fragile organs. This creature is not a squid or an octopus, but a unique species, a living fossil that embodies the silent horror of the deep. Its name perfectly captures its appearance: a cloak of black, blood-red eyes, and a terrifying defensive posture that resembles a spiky, fleshy weapon. The vampire squid's extreme defense is a testament to the dangers of the Midnight Zone, forcing a creature to literally turn itself inside out just to survive. It survives by doing very little, eating only the drifting marine snow, conserving energy for the moment it must become a spiky black monster. Goblin shark's protruding jaw. The goblin shark is an ancient species, a terrifying pink-skinned creature often called a living fossil. Its most horrifying feature is its highly specialized jaw, which can instantly launch forward from its face like a crossbow, extending out of its mouth to snag unsuspecting prey. This sudden, horrific extension of its teeth-filled snout is a chilling sight, allowing it to ambush and catch fast-moving fish with impossible speed. Its unique anatomy means the head itself acts like a spring-loaded trap, an adaptation for the pitch-black environment where every attack must be a guaranteed success. The goblin shark's permanent razor-sharp smile and its terrible biological mechanism make it the ultimate silent hunter. It is a slow-moving phantom of the depths that suddenly turns into a fast, inescapable engine of death, proving that the deepest oceans harbour the Earth's oldest, most grotesque predators. The deep's biggest eyes. The colossal squid is the largest known invertebrate on the planet, and its eyes are the size of dinner plates, the biggest eyes in the entire animal kingdom. This massive sensory apparatus is required to see the faint flashing light of its prey, or its predator, in the absolute dark. These gigantic eyes are the only way to pierce the perpetual darkness, allowing the colossal squid to hunt and hide in the vast, lightless expanse. It is a creature built on a scale that defies imagination, constantly watching the black void with massive, unblinking spheres of sight. The thought that an eye the size of a human head is constantly gazing through the water is a frightening one. It suggests that whatever the colossal squid is looking at, itself a 45-foot leviathan, must be even more enormous and terrifying, hidden just beyond the reach of our discovery. The ultimate swallower. The black swallower fish is a small, dark predator with an impossibly elastic stomach. This terrifying adaptation allows it to swallow fish up to 10 times its own mass and twice its length. It is a tiny creature built for gluttony, ensuring that a single large meal lasts for months. This monstrous feat of consumption often leaves the black swallower so full that it can barely swim, becoming a massive, dark silhouette of its last victim. Sometimes the victim is too large, and the black swallower will be found floating dead, having been killed by the sheer size of its last desperate meal. The sight of this tiny fish with a huge, bulging stomach that contains a visible giant carcass is a profound horror. It is a picture of the desperate, all-or-nothing survival in the food-scarce abyss, where the only way to live is to constantly attempt to eat yourself to death. The bone-eating zombie worms. When a massive whale dies and sinks to the bottom, its bones are quickly colonized by horrifying creatures called Osedax worms, or bone-eaters. These worms drill into the skeletons of the dead, using their organs to dissolve the fats and oils inside, leaving nothing behind but the brittle calcium shell. These zombie worms have no mouth or stomach. Instead, they absorb the nutrients from the dead bone through a specialized, terrifying root system that spreads across the skeleton. They are the ultimate recyclers, ensuring that even the largest creature's last moments on Earth are one of consumption and horror. The Osedax worms prove that the deep ocean wastes nothing. Every piece of matter, even hard bone, is food for some ghastly creature. They are the silent, constant inhabitants of the ocean's graveyards, the cleanup crew of the abyss, leaving behind only the ghost of a giant mammal. The flashlight fish's code. The flashlight fish has specialized organs beneath its eyes that contain millions of glowing bacteria. It can use a muscle or a flap of skin to instantly turn this light on or off, creating a terrifying coded signal in the absolute dark of the abyss. This unique controllable bioluminescence is used to find food, communicate with mates, and most frighteningly, to suddenly flash an attacker in the face before vanishing into the darkness. It is like a silent, blinking code in the perpetual night, a secret language we cannot understand. Imagine being surrounded by hundreds of these creatures, silently flashing their lights on and off in a complex rhythmic pattern, a secret conversation occurring in the depths. It is a powerful reminder that the creatures of the dark have a complete, functional world we can only barely glimpse. The hagfish's slime defense. The hagfish is a grotesque, eel-like creature known for its horrifying defense mechanism. When attacked, it instantly produces an enormous amount of thick, fibrous slime from its skin. This slime instantly expands in the water, clogging the gills of any fish predator, causing it to suffocate and retreat. This repulsive creature can produce enough of this suffocating, milky slime to fill a 5-gallon bucket in a matter of minutes, turning the surrounding water into a deadly, viscous mess. To clear its own nostrils, the hagfish must literally tie itself into a knot and then sneeze out the slime. The hagfish is the ultimate scavenger, using its repulsive defense and its terrifying eating habits to survive. It feeds by burrowing its way inside dead or dying creatures and eating them from the inside out. It is a dark, slimy testament to survival at any cost in the cruel abyss. Life beneath the Earth's crust. Scientists drilling into the ocean floor have discovered living microbes, called deep-sea bacteria, that exist thousands of feet beneath the seabed, in the rock itself. These life forms survive by eating the chemicals and minerals in the rock, completely cut off from the sun and the surface world. This deep, dark and hot world is called the subseafloor biosphere, and it may contain more total mass of living organisms than all the plants and animals on the surface combined. They are ancient, primitive and terrifyingly resilient, proving that life can exist in the most impossible geological prison. The idea that the entire planet is riddled with a silent, unseen civilization of microbial life is a profound and chilling fact. It means the Earth is not just a surface world, it is a layered sphere with a vast, dark, chemical ecosystem living perpetually beneath the deep-sea floor. The giant deep-sea spider. There are terrifyingly large sea spiders that live in the deep Antarctic waters. Unlike their small cousins on land, these creatures have a wide leg span that can reach over 2 feet, walking slowly and deliberately across the cold, dark ocean floor in a state of giganticism. This exaggerated size, known as polar gigantism, is thought to be caused by the high levels of oxygen and the extremely cold water of the deep. These massive arachnids move like slow-motion nightmares, constantly scavenging the bottom with their terrifyingly long, thin, jointed legs. The existence of these colossal deep-sea versions of land creatures reminds us that the abyss takes the familiar and twists it into something monstrous. They are the silent alien walkers of the seabed, a living demonstration of the deep's ability to turn the small and simple into the large and horrifying. The deep-sea Dumbo octopus. The Dumbo octopus is a small ethereal creature that lives at extreme depths and is named for the large ear-like fins that protrude from the top of its head. These delicate fins allow the octopus to fly silently through the black water, resembling a ghostly, pale, silent air balloon. Though it is not aggressive, its unique appearance is terrifying because it seems to defy the harsh reality of the deep. It is a creature of pure fantasy living in a world of absolute horror, a silent, eight-legged phantom that glides through the crushing pressure without effort. The Dumbo octopus shows that even in the ultimate darkness, moments of strange, ethereal beauty can exist. Yet, the fact that such a soft, fragile-looking creature can survive these depths is a terrifying mystery, proving that the rules of biology are different in the silent, cold abyss. The coelacanth's time warp. The coelacanth is a massive lobe-finned fish that scientists believed was extinct for 66 million years, existing only as a fossil. Then, in 1938, one was found alive, swimming in the deep waters off the coast of South Africa. It is a living time capsule from the age of dinosaurs. This ancient fish has changed almost nothing about its body structure in all those millions of years, proving that the deep ocean is a perfect sanctuary for the primitive. It is a reminder that the deep sea is so vast and unexplored that ancient, supposedly extinct life forms can exist in secret. The coelacanth is a terrifying symbol of the deep's power to preserve the past. It suggests that if one massive ancient fish can survive in secret, what other colossal primeval terrors from the dawn of time are also lurking, waiting patiently in the unexplored trenches for our discovery. The oarfish's tsunami warning. The giant oarfish is the longest bony fish in the world, capable of reaching over 55 feet in length. These massive silvery creatures normally live in the deep, but occasionally rise to the surface just before an earthquake or tsunami, leading to ancient folklore that they are sea serpent messengers of doom. The sudden appearance of this serpent-like giant on a beach or near the surface is often seen as a terrifying omen of a coming seismic event. Whether the fish are sensitive to deep-sea tremors or simply sick, their surfacing is a chilling sign of impending natural disaster. The oarfish is a living legend, a terrifyingly long, thin, ribbon-like creature that links deep-sea mystery to ancient human fear. It is a living connection between the hidden geological forces of the abyss and the destructive power that can be unleashed upon the unsuspecting world above. The megamouth shark's giant veil. The megamouth shark is an extremely rare and mysterious deep-sea creature. It is one of the largest sharks, but unlike its famous cousins, it is a filter feeder that swims slowly through the dark water, with its enormous, glowing mouth wide open, creating a massive, terrifying curtain of teeth and dark skin. Only a little over 100 of these ghostly giants have ever been seen by humans, making every encounter a unique, chilling mystery. Its huge, cavernous mouth is lined with hundreds of tiny, glowing organs that act as a lure, drawing in small creatures toward its massive, dark entrance. The megamouth is a silent, gentle giant, yet its presence is terrifying due to its immense size and its perpetually open, luminous maw. It is a ghostly, slow-moving void in the darkness, reminding us that even the most peaceful deep-sea creatures are monstrously large and inherently alien. The six-gill shark's ancient lineage. The six-gill shark is another living fossil whose physical form has changed little over the last 180 million years, predating the rise of the dinosaurs. These massive, silent predators spend their days in the deepest trenches, often thousands of feet down, and only ascend to the shallows at night to hunt. This daily vertical migration from the abyss to the surface is a silent ritual that links the horrors of the deep directly to the shallower, recreational waters we swim in. They are the true ghosts of the deep, coming up only under the cover of the absolute night to stalk their prey. The thought that a creature from the Jurassic period is constantly patrolling the deep and then quietly ascends to our shores when the sun goes down is a chilling one. It means that the terrors of the abyss are not contained. They are constantly moving, observing and hunting in our backyard. The ghost octopus Casper. The ghost octopus, nicknamed Casper, is a small, pale, and nearly transparent octopus found at crushing depths. It earned its name because it has no pigment cells, making it appear like a silent, ghostly apparition floating in the pitch-black water. It is one of the deepest dwelling octopus species ever found. The creature is so ephemeral and lacking in muscle that scientists believe it must spend huge amounts of time patiently sitting on the deep seabed, conserving its minimal energy. It is a silent phantom, perfectly blending into the darkness by having no colour at all, a true biological ghost. Its ghostly, featureless body is a chilling example of evolution in the complete absence of light. In a world with no colour to see or hide from, colour becomes unnecessary, creating a creature of such fragile, pale beauty that it appears to have been perfectly bleached by the darkness itself. The scaly-foot snail's armour. The scaly-foot snail is a bizarre deep-sea mollusk that lives near the super-hot hydrothermal vents and has evolved to create a shell and scales made of iron sulfide. It is the only known animal on Earth that uses iron to build a 3-layered defense armour for its soft body. This perfect biological armour is so hard and chemically potent that it is impervious to the toxic, superheated water surrounding the vents. The snail is a tiny, perfect, and terrifying example of evolution using the most extreme elements of the planet to forge itself a suit of iron defense. The thought of a tiny living machine covered in metallic scales that walks near boiling hot, toxic water is a sci-fi horror in real life. It shows that the deep ocean forces life to become chemically and structurally unique, creating creatures that are part animal, part mineral, and utterly alien. The endless pursuit of the grenadier. The grenadier or rat-tail fish is one of the most common inhabitants of the deep sea. It is an ugly, large-headed scavenger with a long rat-like tail, and it exists in enormous, dense numbers. They are the deep sea's omnipresent, patient and quiet army of hungry scavengers, waiting for the dead. These grotesque but successful fish swarm the seabed, using their specialized taste buds on their chin to constantly scan the mud for the faintest trace of food, living or dead. They are the quiet, perpetual crowd of the abyss, always present, always watching, and always intensely, quietly hungry. The sheer abundance of the grenadier is the chilling part. Wherever a submersible lands, these silent, large-headed fish immediately surround it, a patient, unblinking congregation of hunger. They prove that the darkness is not empty, but is instead teeming with a vast, silent and ancient population. The terrifying bioluminescence. Bioluminescence, the ability of living things to create their own light, is the most common form of communication and vision in the deep. Over 90% of creatures in the midnight zone use light to hunt, hide, or find a mate. The darkness is not black. It is a canvas of silent, terrifying, blinking lights. This light can be used as a distraction, a lure for unsuspecting prey, or a warning flash to a giant predator. The deep ocean is therefore a world of silent, blinking signals, a complex coded light show that is happening constantly, an alien language of survival we can barely decipher. Imagine swimming in a world where everything that moves glows, and every flash of light is either a trap, a mating signal, or a predator's eye. The absolute darkness of the abyss is actually a silent, glittering war zone of light-based terror, a constant hidden struggle for survival. The world's largest graveyard. The deep ocean is the largest graveyard on the planet, holding the unrecovered remains of an estimated 3 million shipwrecks. These vessels range from ancient wooden galleons and World War II battleships to modern fishing boats, all lying in cold, silent repose in the dark, preserving their terrible secrets. These wrecks are not just metal and wood. They are time capsules holding the remains of countless lives, lost fortunes, and forgotten conflicts. The ocean is the ultimate historian, filing away every tragedy, every failure, and every violent moment of our history, untouched by the world above. The terrifying fact is that you can sail a boat across waters where hundreds of thousands of lives were suddenly extinguished, without ever knowing the cold, dark monuments lying just a few miles beneath your keel. The deep is a permanent, silent cemetery for all of humanity's maritime failures. The Titanic's final decay, the wreck of the RMS Titanic lying over 2 miles deep in the North Atlantic, is one of the most famous deep-sea graves. However, the ship is now being slowly consumed by specialized iron-eating bacteria, creating rusticles that look like frozen orange-brown icicles hanging from the hull. These colonies of microbes are quietly and relentlessly turning the massive steel wreck into a fine, rust-coloured powder, a slow-motion destruction that will eventually leave nothing behind but a smear of iron oxide on the ocean floor. The ship that was supposed to be unsinkable is being eaten alive. The terrifying truth is that in the next few decades, the entire wreck of the Titanic will vanish, consumed by the simple, invisible, biological forces of the deep. It is a powerful reminder that even the most monumental creations of man are no match for the slow, patient, and relentless power of the abyss. Lost cities under the waves. It is not just individual ships that the ocean has consumed, but entire civilizations. There is archaeological evidence of dozens of sunken cities around the world, from the palace of Cleopatra in Egypt to the ruins of Dwarka in India, now resting deep beneath the waves, swallowed by ancient earthquakes or rising sea levels. These silent, submerged cities are profound examples of the ocean's terrifying power over human history. Entire kingdoms, with their massive stone buildings, statues and plazas, were simply swallowed whole and entombed in the water, their names and histories forgotten by the world above. Imagine swimming through the street of an ancient city, seeing a statue's face staring silently into the dark, cold water where the sun once shone. These sunken ruins are monuments to the fleeting nature of human endeavour, showing that the ocean is the ultimate and eternal collector of lost empires. The ship, with a doomed crew in 1948, the Dutch freighter Orang Medan, was found floating off the Marshall Islands, with its entire crew dead. The bodies were frozen in postures of pure terror, their eyes wide and their mouths agape, but with no visible injuries. The last radio message simply said, "I die." The ship was quickly boarded, but a sudden explosion in the cargo hold forced the rescuers to abandon the vessel, and it sank almost immediately, taking its terrible secret to the deep. The complete mystery of the crew's silent, violent end remains one of the ocean's most chilling, unexplained ghost ship stories. The Orang Medan is a terrifying example of an unknown, catastrophic event occurring at sea that leaves behind only a brief chilling message and a mystery. Whatever force of terror or poison gripped the crew was enough to freeze their faces in a final scream, forever entombed in the dark. The lost nuclear bombs. The United States military has officially acknowledged that at least 6 nuclear weapons have been accidentally lost at sea, in incidents known as a broken arrow. These live, potentially dangerous bombs now rest silently somewhere on the deep ocean floor, unrecovered and largely unsearchable. One famous example is a massive thermonuclear bomb lost off the coast of Georgia in 1958, which is still believed to be sitting at the bottom of the ocean floor, constantly monitored but never found. These lost weapons are a quiet, terrifying reminder of our most dangerous secrets lying just beneath the waves. The thought that a massive world-ending device is silently decaying in the cold, dark seabed is a profound horror. It is a secret, unstable piece of human warfare hidden in the ultimate hiding place, constantly waiting for a natural event or an eventual corrosion to trigger a catastrophic disaster. The ship that vanished without a signal. The USS Cyclops, a massive US Navy cargo ship, vanished in 1918 while travelling in the Bermuda Triangle, taking 306 men with it. The ship was twice the size of the Titanic, but no wreckage, no distress signal, and no bodies were ever found. A massive ship simply swallowed by the sea. The disappearance of such a colossal vessel, with no witnesses and no explanation, remains one of the ocean's most chilling and absolute mysteries, It was as if the ship and all its crew were instantly erased from existence. A clean, silent removal by an unknown, powerful force of the abyss. The fate of the Cyclops is a terrifying demonstration of the sea's power to make things vanish without a trace, showing that the ocean can be a perfect vacuum for human structures. It proves that there are parts of the world where human existence is simply deemed irrelevant and quietly cancelled. The mystery of the ghost ship sailors have reported sightings of ghost ships in the deep ocean for centuries. Vessels sailing with torn sails, decaying hulls, and no living crew. These derelict ships drift silently on the currents, perpetual haunting monuments to a disaster that no one witnessed or survived. These unmanned ships are often ships whose entire crew abandoned them in a panic, or were killed by a sudden, catastrophic event. They are true sea phantoms, floating on the surface in a bizarre half-life, their final terrible moments preserved in the slow decay of their wood and metal. The most terrifying moment is seeing one of these ships and realizing you are the first human to witness its tragic end. They are the ocean's slow, silent messengers, a chilling warning that the sea can swallow every soul and still send the empty shell back to us as a cruel reminder. The deepest shipwreck on Earth. The USS Johnston, a US Navy destroyer, sank in World War II and was discovered in 2020 to be the deepest shipwreck ever found, resting nearly 4 miles deep in the Philippine Trench. The crushing pressure at that depth ensures that its wreck will remain untouched and pristine for centuries. The ship is so far down that only highly specialized unmanned submersibles can reach it, meaning it is a silent, almost alien memorial to the hundreds of men who died in the violent battle. The wreck is perfectly preserved by the cold, dark, and still water of the extreme depth. This vast, dark, and silent depth is the ultimate inaccessible memorial. The Johnston's final resting place is a poignant reminder that even the great human battles eventually end in the cold indifference of the deep, where the remains of our wars are entombed forever. The ancient computer of the sea in 1901, divers found a shipwreck off the coast of Greece that contained the Antikythera mechanism, a complex device that turned out to be the world's oldest analog computer, built around 200 BC. This highly intricate machine was used to predict astronomical positions and eclipses. This extraordinary 2,000-year-old machine was found completely rusted and corroded in the cold, deep water, but its existence proved that ancient civilizations possessed a scientific knowledge we had completely forgotten. The ocean preserved this piece of lost human genius for 2 millennia. The discovery of the Antikythera mechanism is a chilling fact, because it suggests the deep ocean is full of forgotten human treasures, technologies, and knowledge that could rewrite all of human history. The sea is a vast, cold library of all the forgotten marvels of our past. The Bermuda Triangle's lost men. The infamous Bermuda Triangle is a section of ocean where hundreds of ships and planes have disappeared under mysterious circumstances. While many disappearances can be blamed on severe weather, the chilling lack of distress signals or debris in many cases suggests a sudden, total catastrophe. One famous loss was Flight 19, 5 US Navy bombers that vanished in 1945, followed by the rescue plane sent to find them. The last messages from the pilots spoke of confused compasses and the inability to tell up from down, as if the water itself was distorting all reality. The true terror of the Bermuda Triangle is the sheer, inexplicable completeness of the disappearances. It is a terrifying part of the ocean that simply removes things from the face of the earth, a constant churning symbol of the sea's ultimate, unexplainable power over human navigation. The train wrecks of the Atlantic. In 1985, 2 massive, perfectly preserved steam trains from the 1850s were discovered resting on the seabed off the coast of New Jersey. There was no historical record of these trains ever being lost or even built, making their presence on the deep ocean floor a profound and silent mystery. It is believed the trains were being transported on a massive barge that sank in a powerful storm, taking the massive locomotives with it to the dark bottom. They are an impossible, surreal sight, two giant coal-burning machines entombed forever in the cold, silent water. The discovery of the lost steam trains is a chilling reminder that the deep ocean holds human artifacts that history has completely forgotten, monuments to tragedies that were never recorded. The deep sea is a collector of impossible, silent history, a strange museum of lost industrial power. The submerged stone crosses off the Canary Islands. Divers discovered a strange sight, a grid of 40 stone crosses lying perfectly aligned on the ocean floor. These crosses were placed to honour 40 Jesuit missionaries who were murdered by pirates in the 16th century and thrown overboard into the sea. The scene is an eerie, organised underwater cemetery, a silent, dark memorial to a moment of brutal violence from 400 years ago. The crosses were meticulously dropped to the bottom, marking the exact spot where the violent end of these men met the cold indifference of the sea. The existence of this perfectly aligned, tragic underwater graveyard is a chilling reminder that the deep ocean is not just a place of natural terror, but also a silent witness to humanity's own terrible history. It is a monument to the violence of man marked on the sea's floor. The underwater sculpture of Christ in Lake Michigan, hundreds of feet down, a massive 1,800-pound bronze sculpture of Jesus on the cross rests silently on the bottom. It was placed there in 1962 as a memorial to a diver who tragically drowned and is visible to divers who make the cold descent. The sight of the massive, solemn statue suspended in the cold, dark freshwater is a haunting experience. It is a permanent, silent vigil, a spiritual monument watching over the unrecovered remains and forgotten secrets of one of the largest and most mysterious bodies of water on Earth. This sculpture is a powerful symbol of the human need to mourn and remember, even in the most hostile environments. Yet, the fact that this sacred image is entombed in the silent dark depths is a chilling reminder of the finality of the sea's cold, absolute power over life. The lost galleon of gold. The deep ocean floor is littered with sunken treasures from ancient empires, the most valuable of which is the gold and silver from Spanish galleons that sank centuries ago. These enormous fortunes, worth billions today, sit silently on the bottom, often guarded by the pressure and depth. One famous example is the wreck of the San Jose, a Spanish treasure galleon sunk in 1708 that is believed to hold over $20 billion in gold, silver and emeralds. It rests in deep water, fiercely guarded by the Colombian government and the terrifying power of the abyss. The deep sea is the world's greatest treasure vault, silently holding more wealth than all the museums and banks combined. This forgotten gold is a constant, alluring and terrifying symbol of humanity's greed, forever entombed in a place that is almost impossible to reach. Truk Lagoon's Silent Fleet. Truk Lagoon, in the South Pacific, is a shallow, warm water site where a massive Japanese imperial fleet was sunk by the US in World War II. It is now a haunting, beautiful and terrifying underwater museum where dozens of ships, planes and submarines rest perfectly preserved. The wrecks are so well preserved that they are covered in coral and are still full of artifacts, including sack bottles, gas masks, and the skeletal remains of the Japanese soldiers. It is a silent battlefield, a final resting place where the horrors of war are covered by the beauty of nature. The site is a chilling paradox, a place of unimaginable violence and death that has been transformed into a colourful, vibrant ecosystem. It is a profound demonstration of the ocean's indifference to human conflict, a natural monument where the dead remain entombed in their war machines. The lost ancient stone circle. In the deep waters of Lake Michigan's Grand Traverse Bay, archaeologists discovered a strange line of stones in a circle, reminiscent of England's Stonehenge. One of the stones was found to have a prehistoric carving of a mastodon, an elephant-like creature that went extinct over 10,000 years ago. This massive stone circle, now resting over 40 feet underwater, suggests that this area was once dry land, where ancient humans performed rituals before the great glaciers melted and the lake level rose. It is a silent, inexplicable monument from a time we cannot imagine. The stone circle is a chilling symbol of the ocean's constant, slow reclamation of land and history. It proves that the natural places we know today were once the spiritual centres of human life, quietly swallowed and entombed by the rising power of the water over millennia. The cargo of ancient bones. In the deep sea off the coast of Florida, researchers have found a vast ancient cargo of mastodon and mammoth bones. This concentration of prehistoric remains suggests that ancient hunter-gatherers were using this now submerged continental shelf as a hunting ground tens of thousands of years ago. The sight of massive skeletal remains of giant extinct mammals scattered on the seabed is a profound, haunting image. It is an archaeological dream and a terrifying graveyard, representing a lost ecosystem and a forgotten human way of life swallowed by the sea. The ocean is literally holding the remains of the Ice Age, preserving a moment in time when giant mammals walked on land where now only cold, dark water exists. The deep is a vast, cold archive of Earth's ancient history, constantly waiting for us to uncover its prehistoric secrets. The unseen plastic plague. The most common human artifact found in the deep ocean is not gold or ancient pottery, but plastic. Scientists have discovered plastic bags, bottles, and microplastics in the deepest trenches, including the Challenger Deep, where they are consumed by deep-sea organisms. This modern, pervasive pollution means that no part of the deep ocean, no matter how remote or extreme, is safe from human impact. The cold, dark, quiet trenches are now filled with the ghost of our own modern waste, carried to the bottom by the constant silent snow of decay. The fact that plastic has become a permanent indelible layer in the deep-sea sediment is a chilling demonstration of our lasting damage to the planet. Even in the ocean's most pristine alien environments, humanity's carelessness has already arrived and is now a terrifying part of the ecosystem. The ruins of the Yonaguni Monument. Off the coast of Japan lies the Yonaguni Monument, a massive submerged stone structure with terraces, sharp right angles and clear steps. Some researchers believe it is a natural formation, while others believe it is the 10,000-year-old remnant of an ancient pre-Ice Age human civilization. If the structure is man-made, it suggests that a complex, highly advanced human civilization existed thousands of years before the known history of Egypt or Mesopotamia. The ocean is silently holding the proof of a completely lost and forgotten branch of human achievement that was simply swallowed by the rising sea. The sheer scale and symmetry of the monument are terrifying, forcing us to question everything we know about the origins of human intelligence. The Yonaguni Monument is a silent, colossal block of stone, a profound mystery entombed in the deep, challenging the core story of our past. The deep-sea ship's final moments. The most chilling part of any deep-sea wreck is the evidence of the crew's final, desperate moments. Divers have found items perfectly preserved, a playing card laid out on a table, a pair of boots standing upright, or a teacup still sitting on a tray. Everything stopped in an instant. These snapshots of normal life, suddenly frozen by disaster and preserved by the cold, deep water, create a profound sense of temporal displacement. It is as if the water has preserved the ghosts of the crew's final normal activities, forcing the observer to bear witness to their final, tragic routine. The deep ocean is a theatre of silent tragedy, perfectly preserving the exact moment that life ended and chaos began. It is a cold, dark museum where the exhibits are the intimate, final possessions of the dead, a constant solemn reminder of the sea's ultimate unsparing power. The mystery of the bloop. In 1997, the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration recorded an extremely powerful, ultra-low-frequency sound in the deep South Pacific, which they nicknamed the bloop. The sound was so loud it was detected thousands of miles away, yet its source was completely unknown. The bloop's acoustic signature did not match any known human-made noise, nor did it match the call of any known marine animal, including the great blue whale. Scientists speculated the sound could have come from a massive undiscovered life form, an organism of truly colossal size hiding in the abyss. The bloop remains a terrifying, unexplainable echo of the deep, a sound so loud and unique it implies a creature or phenomenon of a scale we cannot comprehend. It is the ultimate sonic clue, suggesting a true leviathan may be silently moving through the unmapped dark trenches below us. The Baltic Sea anomaly. In 2011, a Swedish treasure hunting team discovered a bizarre circular object on the floor of the Baltic Sea. The object is 60 meters wide with strange drag marks leading up to it, and its shape is so unnaturally symmetrical that many speculate it is a relic of unknown, non-human origin. The Baltic Sea anomaly has been nicknamed an underwater UFO, as attempts to drill into the object have failed, and its electronic equipment stops working when it gets too close. It sits in a permanent, cold, silent vigil, a metallic mystery resting on the deep, cold seabed. This gigantic, unidentifiable object is a chilling reminder that the deep ocean can hold secrets that defy human logic and conventional history. It is a silent, unmoving monument to the unknown, possibly a piece of technology or rock that fell from the sky and was immediately swallowed by the sea. The upsweep's constant wail. Another chilling sound recorded by deep-sea listening devices is the upsweep, a series of loud, long wails that slowly rise in pitch and are detected all over the Pacific Ocean. The source of this sound remains a mystery, but it appears to be a geological or volcanic phenomenon. The sound is so strange that it sounds like a series of moaning underwater ghosts, a constant, slow and haunting sound that echoes through the deep. It is most active during the spring and fall, suggesting a link to the seasonal changes and the movement of the powerful currents. The upsweep is a constant, ambient noise of the deep, a chilling reminder that the ocean is always singing an unknown, powerful song of geology and water movement. It is the silent, pervasive sound of the massive, hidden forces of the earth, constantly communicating in a language we cannot translate. The toxic ice fingers of death. In the extremely cold waters of the Antarctic, a terrifying phenomenon called a brinacle can occur. This ice finger of death is a downward growing icicle of extremely cold, dense, saline water that sinks from the surface ice and freezes everything it touches on the seabed, killing creatures instantly. The brinacle acts like a silent, slow-motion predator, freezing any slow-moving creature in its path, including starfish and sea urchins. It is a frightening demonstration of the power of the cold, creating a deadly, downward-flowing, icy column of lethal saline water. This terrifying, frozen torrent is a reminder that the ocean's physical laws can be turned into a destructive, chilling force of nature. It is a silent geological executioner, descending slowly from the surface to freeze any unfortunate creature that cannot escape the cold, creeping touch of death. The Milky Seas phenomenon. For centuries, sailors have reported entire sections of the ocean, sometimes miles wide, that glow with an eerie, diffuse milky white light, a phenomenon called a Milky Sea. This glowing effect is believed to be caused by billions of bioluminescent bacteria glowing in massive coordinated swarms. This massive coordinated unnatural glow turns the entire surface of the water into a vast, silent, glowing field, a ghostly light in the middle of the absolute night. It is a profound, unexplained mystery that covers thousands of square miles in an eerie, unsettling luminescence. The Milky Sea is a chilling reminder that the vast dark ocean is also capable of producing light on a planetary scale. It is a silent, beautiful, and profoundly strange demonstration of the collective power of the simplest deep-sea life forms working together to create an eerie, glowing ocean. The deep's strange whispers. In addition to the bloop and the upsweep, the US Navy has recorded dozens of other strange, unidentifiable noises from the deep ocean floor. These sounds have been given chilling names like the train, whistle, and slowdown, all of which remain mysterious and defy conventional explanation. These various sounds suggest that the ocean is constantly communicating with itself through a complex sonic language we cannot fully understand. Whether the source is a massive geological process or the call of an unknown species, the deep is a world constantly full of unintelligible whispers. The fact that we are surrounded by a world that is always talking, but whose words we cannot translate, is a terrifying thought. It implies that the deep ocean is a world of constant secret activity, a massive silent radio broadcasting a permanent, unintelligible message of the abyss. Underwater crop circles. In the shallow, sandy seabed off the coast of Japan, strange, intricate, and perfectly geometric patterns are constantly created. These beautiful, elaborate formations were initially thought to be a sign of alien activity, earning them the nickname underwater crop circles. The true, bizarre cause of these 2-meter-wide circles was discovered to be a small male pufferfish, who uses his fins to meticulously carve the intricate patterns to attract a mate. He spends days tirelessly sculpting the sand into a massive, perfect work of art. This strange, natural art is a beautiful yet terrifying reminder that even in the sea, the compulsion to attract a mate drives unbelievable complex behaviour. The pufferfish is an artist of the seabed, a tiny creature whose intense, silent desire creates a massive geometric mystery. The ocean's methane burps. On the deep ocean floor, massive quantities of solid, frozen methane gas, called methane hydrates or ice that burns, are stored under tremendous pressure. Any shift in temperature or pressure can cause these hydrates to instantly melt and release giant bubbles of methane gas to the surface. These massive releases of gas are sometimes blamed for the sudden sinking of ships, as the methane bubbles reduce the density of the water, causing a vessel to lose all buoyancy and sink instantly. This silent chemical catastrophe is known as an oceanic burp and is impossible to predict. The deep sea is a massive, unstable warehouse of volatile gas, constantly threatening to suddenly unleash a silent chemical attack on the surface. It is a terrifying natural event, proving that the ocean has hidden geological weapons that can sink a massive ship without leaving a trace of wreckage. The Bermuda Triangle's magnetic field. One of the scientific explanations for the navigational failures in the Bermuda Triangle is that the area is one of the few places on Earth where true north and magnetic north perfectly align. This alignment can cause a compass needle to point straight toward true north, confusing pilots who rely on magnetic north. This sudden, subtle shift in magnetic reality is enough to disorient a pilot or navigator, causing them to make a fatal error in direction, leading them far off course into the deep, unpopulated ocean. The Earth's magnetic field itself becomes a terrifying, invisible saboteur. The Bermuda Triangle is a chilling example of how the invisible forces of the Earth can conspire with human error to create an air of mystery and terror. The ocean doesn't need monsters or mythical beasts to destroy. It only needs to subtly alter the basic laws of physics and navigation. The ocean's dark, warm water. Scientists have discovered that the deepest waters of the ocean are not heated by the sun, but by the slow, constant decay of radioactive elements deep in the Earth's crust. This geothermal heat is a massive, secret power source, warming the abyssal zones from below. This deep, dark heat is another paradox of the abyss, where the coldest water on Earth sits directly on top of a constant, subtle source of geological warmth. This unseen rising heat provides a perfect environment for the growth of deep-sea bacteria and primitive life. The ocean is literally heated by the heart of the Earth, a massive, silent process occurring beneath all the ice, cold, and pressure. It is a terrifying realization that the deep sea is a self-contained, chemically and physically complex world that needs absolutely nothing from the sunlit surface. The black smoker chimneys. Near the hydrothermal vents, the minerals spewed out by the superhot water cool instantly, forming massive black smokestack-like structures called black smokers. These mineral chimneys can grow up to 100 feet tall, constantly pouring out toxic, superheated black water into the cold ocean. The water coming out of these chimneys is so rich in toxic minerals and heavy metals that it can be lethal to most marine life. But specialized creatures like the yeti crab and tube worms thrive in this chemical soup. It is a world of heat, poison, and impossible life. These massive black towers are the industrial landscape of the deep, a silent, constantly spewing reminder that the ocean's basement is a chemically volatile world. They are monuments of geological power, proving that life can take root and thrive in the most toxic, volatile environment. The ocean's magnetic memory. The rocks on the ocean floor contain a silent, powerful record of the Earth's past. As new crust is constantly being created at the mid-ocean ridges, the iron in the magma aligns itself with the Earth's magnetic field, creating a permanent striped record of every time the planet's magnetic poles have flipped. This magnetic striping is a terrifying reminder that the Earth's internal systems are constantly changing, and that the North and South poles have reversed direction many times in history. The ocean floor is a vast geological tape recorder of all the planet's magnetic chaos. The fact that the deep ocean holds the exact physical proof of the planet's magnetic instability is a chilling one. It suggests that the stable world we live in is only a temporary moment in the Earth's long, violent and magnetically chaotic geological history. The Black Sea's anoxic layer. The bottom layer of the Black Sea is a giant vast zone of anoxic water, meaning it has no oxygen at all. This lack of oxygen prevents almost all life and decay, creating a massive deep-sea world where organic matter, wood, and metal can last for thousands of years. This huge dead layer of water acts as a perfect preservative, allowing archaeologists to discover ancient, completely intact wooden shipwrecks that would have dissolved in any other ocean. The Black Sea is the world's largest, most perfectly preserved cold storage vault for maritime history. The Black Sea is a terrifying paradox, a massive body of water with a vast, silent and dead bottom layer. It is a profound demonstration of how chemistry and geology can conspire to create a perfect museum of human failure, silently preserving the skeletons of ancient ships. The Siren's Call from the Fury and Hecla Strait. In 2016, residents near the remote Fury and Hecla Strait in the Canadian Arctic reported a strange sound known as the ping, or siren's call. The noise, which was said to be loud and persistent, was so unsettling that it reportedly scared away the local marine wildlife. The Canadian military launched an aircraft to investigate the source, but they could find no ship, no submarine, and no natural explanation for the rhythmic, metallic-sounding noise. It was a clear, mechanical sound that seemed to come from the deep ice, but with no logical source. The siren's call remains a profound mystery, suggesting a hidden technology, a secret geological process, or something else entirely, is operating in the silent, frozen depths of the Arctic. It is a chilling reminder that the deep water can broadcast its own terrifying and unexplained noises. The cold water mirage. In certain parts of the ocean, a strange phenomenon called a cold water mirage can occur when extremely cold air meets warmer water. This makes distant ships appear distorted, upside down, or even floating in the air, creating the illusion of ghost ships or floating land masses. This visual distortion, which often causes sailors to mistake distant ships for something unnatural or paranormal, is a terrifying example of how the ocean's extreme temperature shifts can play tricks on the human mind. The deep water literally bends light and reality to create terrifying illusions. The cold water mirage is a scientific explanation for centuries of terrifying maritime myths. It shows that the ocean is a master of illusion, capable of turning simple, distant objects into frightening, unexplainable apparitions that lure a superstitious sailor to a catastrophic end. The Lost Tybee Bomb. In 1958, a US Air Force B-47 bomber accidentally dropped a 6,000-pound Mark 15 hydrogen bomb into the ocean off the coast of Tybee Island, Georgia, where it was immediately swallowed by the sea. The military claims the bomb did not contain its nuclear core, making it harmless. However, the bomb has never been recovered, and its exact location remains unknown, making it a constant terrifying question mark resting silently on the seabed. It is a massive, metallic, volatile shell of human destruction, constantly monitored by government agencies but never found. The Lost Tybee Bomb is a perfect example of the ocean's ability to hide our most dangerous mistakes. It is a silent, massive, and powerful relic of the Cold War, forever entombed in the dark, a constant reminder that our greatest technological dangers are now a permanent hidden part of the seabed. The colossal wreck of the Derbyshire. The MV Derbyshire was a massive, twice Titanic-sized ore-bulk carrier that sank in a typhoon in 1980, taking all 44 crew members with it. It was the largest British vessel ever lost at sea, and it vanished so quickly that the crew had no time to send a distress signal. The wreck was finally found in 1994, resting in pieces on the deep ocean floor. The sheer scale of the disaster, the speed of its sinking, and the complete silence of its final moments make it a terrifying testament to the ocean's absolute brutal power during a catastrophic storm. The Derbyshire's end is a chilling reminder that no amount of engineering or size can defeat the power of the sea. The ocean can instantly swallow the largest, most modern vessel, leaving nothing but a sudden, silent void and a profound, permanent question mark of human loss. The Devil Sea's ominous name. The Devil Sea, also known as the Dragon's Triangle, is an area of the Pacific Ocean near Japan, notorious for unexplained ship and plane disappearances, similar to the Bermuda Triangle. Its ominous name comes from ancient Japanese folklore warning of sea monsters and supernatural forces. While the sea's reputation is likely fueled by severe seismic activity and strong, unpredictable currents, the chilling history of sudden, silent loss remains. For centuries, sailors have reported strange lights, unexplained noises, and the sudden failure of all their navigational instruments. The Devil's Sea is a terrifying geographical spot where history, folklore, and geology combine to create an aura of pure, persistent terror. It is a chilling reminder that some places on the map seem to hold a permanent, localized malevolence that actively seeks to remove us from the world. The Earth's massive salt store scientists estimate that the total volume of all the salt dissolved in the ocean water, if spread out over the land, would create a layer over 500 feet thick, nearly the height of a skyscraper. The ocean is an immense, vast chemical reservoir of sodium chloride. This staggering amount of salt is a terrifying reminder of the chemical hostility of the deep. It is this high salinity that allows the water to be so dense, cold, and a perfect conductor of electricity, making the ocean a chemically volatile and naturally lethal environment for us. The sheer, staggering volume of salt is another powerful statistic showing the ocean's magnitude and chemical power. The abyss is not just cold water, it is a giant, vast solution of death, a chemical reminder that our bodies are simply not designed for a place of such intense salinity. The Silent Watchers. The deep-sea world is full of creatures, like the deep-sea anglerfish, that have evolved to be perfectly silent hunters. They have no natural predators or need to communicate loudly, meaning their every movement is a silent, perfect, and terrifying stalk through the perpetual night. This absolute silence is one of the most frightening aspects of the deep. There is no sound to warn a creature of a nearby hunter, forcing them to rely on bioluminescence or the detection of tiny pressure waves. The silent killers move like ghosts in a world with no sound. The deep ocean is an environment of permanent, profound quiet, where the most dangerous things move without a whisper. This silence is the perfect camouflage, making the abyss a terrifying, mute theatre of predator and prey, where the only warning is often the last flash of light. The deepest life forms, even in the Hadal Zone, the deepest trenches on Earth, life finds a way to survive against the impossible pressure and cold. Scientists have found giant, bizarre, single-celled amoebas called xenophyophories that live on the trench floor, growing up to 4 inches wide, perfectly adapted to the crushing depth. These giant, primitive life forms are the true conquerors of the abyss, surviving in a world that instantly crushes all other life. They are a terrifying reminder that no matter how hostile the environment, life is relentlessly persistent, adapting to the ultimate extreme of our planet. The existence of these massive, primitive life forms at the bottom of the world suggests that life can be found in any extreme. They're a profound, chilling paradox. Massive, single-celled organisms thriving in the coldest, most pressurized, and most unexplored part of the entire planet. The ghostly grenadier, the Hadal snailfish, is a pale, nearly transparent small fish that holds the record for the deepest swimming fish ever observed. It survives at depth of over 26,000 feet, adapting to the crushing pressure by lacking a swim bladder and having a skull made of flexible jelly-like cartilage. This ghostly, fragile-looking creature would instantly dissolve into mush if brought to the surface, as its specialized body is completely dependent on the intense pressure of the trench. It is a creature whose existence is defined by the very force that would instantly kill us. The snailfish is a terrifying symbol of perfect adaptation to the ultimate extreme. It is a living phantom of the deep, a creature whose entire existence is direct, chilling reflection of the hostile environment it inhabits and a profound biological mystery. The Kraken's colossal eye. The myth of the Kraken, a giant ship-destroying squid from Scandinavian folklore, is believed to be rooted in the terrifying reality of the giant squid. These massive creatures were once only known by the massive sucker ring scars found on the bodies of deep-diving sperm whales. The scars were often 3 to 4 inches across, proving that a massive, colossal battle was constantly raging in the unexplored dark depths between the largest predator on Earth and an even larger invertebrate. This silent, brutal war is a terrifying reality of the deep. The Kraken myth is a chilling example of the deep ocean's ability to create real-life leviathans on a scale that defies our terrestrial imagination. It is a silent reminder that the true masters of the dark are huge, ancient, and constantly locked in a cosmic deep-sea struggle for dominance. The deep-sea cannibalism. In the food-scarce, pitch-black abyss, many deep-sea creatures practice cannibalism as a brutal, necessary means of survival. Because encounters with food are so rare, a predator cannot afford to be selective, often consuming its own species to gain a brief moment of life-sustaining energy. For the species that live in this permanent famine, every flicker of light or movement is seen as a potential meal, even if it is a mate or a child. The absolute desperation of the deep ocean turns creatures into all-consuming, unthinking, and often self-devouring engines of survival. The terrifying reality of deep-sea cannibalism is a chilling symbol of the absolute brutality of the environment. The deep ocean does not allow for compassion or community. It demands absolute selfishness, forcing its creatures to live in a constant, silent war against their own kind. The megalodon's ghost. The megalodon was the largest shark that ever lived, Capable of reaching over 60 feet in length, and it hunted in the deep ocean, using its immense size to prey on whales. Though it went extinct millions of years ago, the scale of its power still casts a shadow over the abyss. While the megalodon is gone, its massive fossilized teeth are constantly being found in deep-sea sediment, a chilling reminder of the true scale of terror the ocean is capable of producing. The ghost of this colossal predator still haunts the dark, vast spaces of the deep. The terrifying thought is that the same geological and environmental conditions that allowed the megalodon to evolve still exist in the unexplored vast ocean. The deep sea is a perfect engine for creating colossal, silent hunters, and we cannot be certain that a successor isn't already growing in the dark. The ocean's hidden giant scientists have long speculated that massive unknown life forms, far larger than any creature we have discovered, may be hiding in the vast, unexplored sections of the deep ocean. The only clues are the unexplained sounds and the deep, mysterious trenches that are impossible to explore. The sheer volume of unexplored water makes the existence of true leviathans a logical possibility. These creatures would have evolved to be so sensitive to pressure and so dependent on the dark that they would instantly die if they ever ascended to the middle water column. The terrifying truth is that we do not have the technology to prove or disprove the existence of these giant silent watchers in the abyss. The ocean remains the ultimate hiding place, ensuring that its largest, most terrifying and most ancient secrets are perfectly kept, far below human reach. The terrifying transparency. Many deep-sea creatures like the glass squid and the viperfish have evolved to be almost completely transparent. This incredible biological adaptation is their only defense in the deep, allowing them to disappear instantly into the water column and vanish from a predator's view. The deep ocean is a world full of silent, moving ghosts, creatures whose bodies are designed to be almost pure water, with only their eyes and a few organs visible. They are the ultimate masters of camouflage, always present but never truly seen in the cold, dark water. The terrifying part is that you can be surrounded by hundreds of these transparent hunters without ever knowing, as they float silently, perfectly blended into the water itself. The ocean is not empty. It is simply full of creatures that have evolved to be perfectly invisible to us. The Yeti crab's chemical world. The Yeti crab is a bizarre, white, hairy crab that lives clustered around the super-hot hydrothermal vents, an environment that is pure heat and poison. Its terrifying white fur is actually a massive colony of bacteria that the crab cultivates and eats to survive. The crab uses its strange white hairy arms to constantly farm the chemical-rich bacteria near the vent's mouth, a living engine of chemical conversion. It is a terrifying, blind, white scavenger whose very existence is a testament to the life-giving power of heat and absolute chemical poison. The Yeti crab is a profound symbol of the deep ocean's alien nature, a creature that is perfectly adapted to a world that would instantly kill us. It is a blind, silent, and chemically dependent animal, perfectly evolved to live on the edge of a hot, toxic, volcanic chimney. The dark side of the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream is a massive, powerful current of warm water that flows across the Atlantic, but it is also known for its rapid and brutal changes in weather. Sailors report the water and wind can turn instantly, going from a calm surface to massive, violent 6-foot swells in minutes. This sudden, chaotic shift in the water's mood is a terrifying trap for smaller vessels, giving the crew no time to prepare for the onslaught of the massive waves. The Gulf Stream is a living, turbulent river of water that can become a murderous, unpredictable enemy in an instant. The Gulf Stream is a chilling reminder that the ocean is capable of sudden, immense mood swings that can instantly lead to a catastrophic loss of life. It is a powerful, warm current that suddenly becomes a cold, unyielding force of destruction, a beautiful trap for the unprepared. The ocean's ancient microbe scientists have found living microbes encased in deep-sea sediment that are over 100 million years old, perfectly preserved in a state of suspended animation. These ancient microbes are a terrifying reminder that life is incredibly persistent, existing silently in the dirt beneath our feet for vast amounts of time. When these microbes are brought to the surface and given food, they slowly wake up and begin to reproduce, a chilling resurrection of life from the age of the dinosaurs. The deep-sea floor is a perfect time capsule, constantly holding the secrets of ancient dormant life. The deep ocean floor is a vast, cold cemetery that is also a nursery for ancient life, a terrifying biological paradox. It is a profound, chilling reminder that the deadliest, most resilient life forms on Earth are the ones we cannot see, simply waiting patiently for their moment to return. The abyss's massive waves. The most massive wave ever recorded was in the Pacific Ocean in 1958, in Lituya Bay, Alaska, where an earthquake triggered a landslide that created a mega tsunami that rose to a terrifying height of 1,220 feet, taller than the Empire State Building. This gargantuan wave was a sudden, violent and complete catastrophe, wiping out all life and vegetation on the sides of the bay and creating an indelible scar on the mountain. It is a chilling reminder of the maximum destructive power that the ocean is capable of unleashing in a single violent motion. The mega tsunami is a terrifying geological warning that the true power of the ocean is not in its monsters, but in its ability to combine water and geology to create an unstoppable, world-ending force. It is a profound symbol of the ocean's silent, immense, and unsparing potential for chaos. The ocean's chemical suicide. A process known as ocean deoxygenation is creating massive expanding zones in the ocean that have very little to no oxygen. These dead zones are constantly growing due to warming temperatures and pollution, forcing creatures to flee or suffocate in the vast, silent, oxygen-poor water. These dead zones are the ocean's silent, slow suicide, a massive chemical catastrophe that renders huge areas of the water completely uninhabitable. Any creature caught in these zones experiences a silent, desperate end as the life-giving gas is slowly removed from the water. The existence and expansion of these massive, suffocating voids is a terrifying sign of the human impact on the deep. It proves that we are actively changing the ocean's fundamental chemistry, creating silent, growing zones of death that will eventually consume massive chunks of the marine ecosystem. The mystery of the giant worms. Near the hydrothermal vents, scientists found huge, red-plumed giant tube worms that grow up to 7 feet long. These massive, bizarre creatures have no mouth, stomach, or eyes, and survive entirely by feeding on the toxic, chemical soup pumped out by the vents. The terrifying part is that these creatures are completely dependent on the chemical energy from the Earth's core, meaning they are the only animals on the planet that do not need the sun to survive. They are a profound, chilling demonstration of life's ability to evolve without light. The tube worms are a colossal and grotesque reminder that the dark, toxic forces of the deep can create life on a scale that defies our logic. They are living, silent pillars of red tissue, proving that the ocean's basement is a chemically volatile and completely separate ecosystem. The ocean's true loneliness. The deepest trenches are places of absolute, profound, and permanent isolation. The creatures that live there, like the Hadal snailfish, live in such sparsely populated areas that a single animal can go its entire life without ever encountering another creature of its own kind. This vast, cold, and quiet loneliness is a terrifying concept, as it means the creatures of the Hadal zone are condemned to an eternal, silent solitude. The distance between life forms is so vast that the ocean itself becomes a biological desert of isolated existence. The Hadal zone is the ultimate demonstration of the ocean's indifference to biological need. It is a silent, endless expanse where the sheer scale of the water itself enforces a permanent, chilling isolation, making the deepest part of the planet a world of profound, eternal loneliness. The unseen giant amoebas. Scientists believe the deep ocean is home to a completely unknown kingdom of giant single-celled organisms, or foraminifera, that are far larger than any living cell on land. They are silent, unmoving, and exist in massive, uncountable numbers on the seabed, waiting for us to find them. These giant, primitive life forms are the true, quiet majority of the deep ocean, a vast, silent, and ancient biological presence. They are a terrifying reminder that the most dominant life forms on the planet are often the ones that are the simplest, oldest, and most completely invisible to us. The deep sea is a massive, secret nursery for strange, primitive life forms that challenge the very definition of what a single cell can be. The abyss is silently holding a vast, ancient, and completely alien biological civilization right beneath the layer of water we explore. The ocean's constant pressure cooker. The tremendous pressure in the Hadal zone is so intense that scientists must keep samples of life forms under an artificial pressure of 20,000 pounds per square inch, just to keep them from instantly dissolving. The pressure is a life-sustaining force for them, and a lethal one for us. This terrifying reliance on pressure means that the creatures of the deep are biologically trapped in the abyss, unable to survive even a short distance away from their crushing environment. The deep ocean is a biological prison that ensures its inhabitants can never escape the darkness. The Hadal zone is a perfect, massive, and constant pressure cooker that actively forbids any upward movement of its inhabitants. It is a profound, chilling demonstration of the ocean's ability to create and sustain a completely unique, pressure-dependent world that is fundamentally separated from our own. The ghostly remains of explorers. For every explorer who successfully ventures into the abyss, there are dozens who are silently claimed by the sea, their remains unrecovered and entombed in the dark. Their final moments were often confused, panicked, and isolated, with their bodies instantly crushed by the immense pressure. These unrecovered remains are a silent, haunting reminder of the ultimate price of curiosity. The deep ocean is not a welcoming environment. It is a greedy collector of human ambition, ensuring that the cold, dark end of every failed expedition remains a permanent part of the seabed. The thought of an unrecovered body resting in the absolute dark, perfectly preserved by the cold and pressure, is a profound psychological horror. The deep sea is a constant cold threat, quietly waiting to claim the next explorer who attempts to steal its ancient, terrifying secrets. The ocean's true volume. If you could somehow pour all the water from the Earth's oceans into a single cube, that cube would measure over 620 miles on each side. The sheer, staggering volume of the ocean is the most profound and terrifying fact of all. This vast, colossal volume of cold, dark, and hostile water is the reason why the deep ocean remains the largest unexplored place on Earth. It is a massive geological challenge that dwarfs all human ambition and makes our attempts to map and understand it seem insignificant. The true terror lies in the scale of the unknown. The ocean is not just an amount of water, it is a massive planetary entity whose sheer volume ensures that its greatest, most ancient and most terrifying secrets will remain perfectly hidden forever, far below the reach of our light. The siren's lure. Humans have an innate, often irresistible psychological draw to the ocean, a phenomenon known as biophilia, or a love of nature. This natural draw often coexists with a profound, instinctive fear of the deep, or thalassophobia. We are both attracted and terrified by the abyss. This terrifying internal conflict is the ocean's silent psychological trap. It lures us with the promise of beauty and the mystery of the horizon, only to confront us with the paralyzing fear of the unknown depth, the sheer scale of the water and the knowledge of what is hiding beneath. The ocean is the ultimate psychological entity, constantly pulling us toward it, while simultaneously reminding us of our own fragility. This internal conflict is the true, final horror. The knowledge that the deepest, most terrifying place on Earth is also the one we can never truly leave alone. The remaining 95%, after all the monsters, the sunken ships, the chemical terrors, and the crushing pressure, the single most terrifying fact remains this. We have explored less than 5% of the world's oceans. The 100 terrors you have just heard are only the shallowest whispers of the horrors that truly wait. This vast, unvisited majority of the deep is a massive, unexplored territory where creatures of colossal size, unknown geology, and unimaginable chemical terrors exist completely outside the boundary of our knowledge. The deepest ocean is a world that truly belongs to the great unknown. The deepest trenches are always waiting, silently preserving their secrets, ready to unveil a new terror that will rewrite all the rules of science and life. The dark is patient, the abyss is hungry, and it is only a matter of time before the unwritten chapters of the deep finally make themselves known. If the darkness now feels real, let it be a guide. Tell us the one terrifying fact that will keep you awake tonight, the one whisper from the abyss that you cannot forget, and then subscribe so you don't miss our next descent into the archives of the deep. Press the bell so you're notified when the next chapter of the abyss begins, because the secrets below are never truly finished. Tonight, as you drift to sleep, remember the silence of the deep. That vast, eternal night is not empty. It is patient. It holds the secrets of time, the ruins of empires and creatures that have never felt the sun. They are down there, under the immense crushing weight of all that water, perfectly preserved and perfectly silent. They are watching. They are waiting. Sleep well, and dream of the light you left behind.